Chapter 3, Part 27. It is related that one day the Perwana Mu'inuddin had a great assembly in his palace. To this meeting were collected together all the doctors of the law, the sheikhs, the men of piety, the recluses, and the strangers who had congregated from various lands. The chiefs of the law had taken their places in the highest seats. The Perwana had a great desire that Jalal should honor the assembly with his presence. He had a son-in-law, Meduddin, governor to the young princes, the sons of the king. This son-in-law of his was a disciple of Jalal's and a man of very eminent qualities, with great faith in his teacher. He offered to go and invite Jalal to the meeting. Hereupon, the arch sower of doubts and animosities in the human breast spread amongst the chiefs of the law. There present the suspicion that if Jalal should come, the question of precedence would arise. Where should he be seated? They all agreed that they were themselves in their proper places and that Jalal must find a seat where he could. Meduddin delivered the Perwana's courteous message to his teacher Jalal, inviting Musamuddin and others of his disciples to accompany him, set out for the Perwana's palace. The disciples went on a little ahead, and Jalal brought up the procession. When Husam entered the apartment of the Perwana, all present rose to receive him, making room for him in the upper seats. Lastly, Jalal made his appearance. The Perwana and other courtiers crowded forward to receive Jalal with honor and kissed his lordship's blessed hands, with reverence, expressing regret that he had been put into inconvenience by his condescension. He returned compliment for compliment and was shown upstairs. On reaching the assembly room, he saw that the grandees had occupied the whole of the sofa from end to end. He saluted them and prayed for God's grace to be showered upon them. Seating himself then in the middle of the floor, Husamuddin immediately rose from his seat, descended from the sofa, and took a place by the side of Jalal. The grandees of the assembly now rose also, excepting those who, in spite and pride, had formed the confederacy mentioned above. These kept their seats. Some of them were the greatest eminence in learning, and one especially was not very learned, but also eloquent, witty, and bold. He, seeing what had taken place, and that all the men of rank had quitted the sofa to seat themselves on the floor, asked in a jocose manner, "Where, according to the rules of the order, is the chief seat in an assembly?" Someone answered him, "In an assembly of the learned, the chief seat is in the middle of the sofa, where the professor always sits." Another added, "With recluses, the cell of solitude is the chief seat." The third said, "In the convents of dervish brethren, the chief seat is the lower end of the sofa, where in reality people put off their shoes." After these remarks, someone present, as an experiment, asked Jalal, saying, "In your rule and opinion, where is the chief seat?" His answer was, "The chief seat is that where one's beloved is found." The interrogator now asked, "And where is your beloved?" Jalal replied, "Thou must be blind not to see." Jalal then arose and began to sing. Many joined, and the singing became so enthusiastic that the nobles rent their garments. It so happened that after Jalal's death, the interlocutor of his went to Damascus, and there became blind. Friends flocked to visit him and to condole with him. He wept bitterly and cried aloud, "Alas, alas! What have I not suffered?" That very moment when Jalal gave me that fatal answer, a black veil seemed to fall down over my eyes, so that I could not distinguish objects clearly, or their colors. But I have hope and faith in him that out of his sublime generosity he will take pity on me and pardon my presumption. The goodness of the saints is infinite, and Jalal himself hath said, "Despair not because of one sin, for the ocean of divine mercy accepteth penitents. The foregoing incident is also related with the following variation. Shamsuddin of Tabriz had just then returned to Konya and was among those who accompanied Jalal to the Parwana's palace, sitting down near him on the floor. When the question was put, "Where is your beloved?" Jalal arose and cast himself on the breast of Shams. That occurrence it was that made Shams, from that time forward, a man of mark in all Konya. Now, the seating in the prayer, the first row is the best for the men, and the last row is the best for the women. But it's first come, first serve. It has nothing to do with even your current state of learning, your deeds or whatever. It's just whoever comes, because this is the current opportunity. So it can shift like that.